is going to be a... I was going to say, did you mute me? Okay. Maddie, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can. No, I like my...
Are you sure? Okay. Can you actually make it so I can hear myself? That would be fantastic. Just because I need to know what I'm doing. So
Please. I'm used to hearing myself.
at this point, dude, I've done so many live commentary events. Like, if you're not in a big banquet hall and you can't hear yourself, it happens. I hear myself all the time anyway. That's the mental illness.
The voices.
That's the voices.
The voices in my head are going crazy.
Oh, that's so fun. Christian, you can turn down my volume in my headset. I am coming through more loud and clear than I was in the other one.
He is very loud.
I am. Just in real life and in general. I think you need to get hyped for some top tier Valhalla Overwatch.
I'm going to be highly disappointed if this isn't top 500 games.
We're going to have top 501 gameplay. So you're going to be disappointed.
Wow.
I'm
crazy.
sorry for your loss. Oh, I love it.
What's the music we got going on here?
I like the music, yeah. I think this is Coach Christian's doing.
It's very fancy.
I feel like I'm at EDC. Says the boy who has never been to a rave in his life.
Can I change that?
No. Do you want to change that? What? Okay, by the way, you need to in the mic a little more. Oh.
I'm not live.
Yeah, I'm just getting used to communicating like that. Oh, we are. See, we are. Yeah.
Oh. Hi.
Heck yeah, brother. All right, Kristen, can you turn my own voice down a little bit more? I'm still really loud in my own eardrums.
It's also very loud in my ear.
Thank you. That's better. That's not bad.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm eating this one.
Tasty microphone.
Actually.
Christian's like, why the heck did I take this job? Like, I cannot believe I have to work with this chucklehead. Which is fair, honestly. That's fair.
Maybe I should have it here.
Yes, that's probably a really good call. I'm going to do this real quick so I can bum off your screen and my screen as needed. And then just so you know, honey, this is how you... Yeah.
Okay.
And worst case scenario, just flail at Christian and then he will do something.
What kind of way do you want me to flail? You want me to like jumping jack flail or like...
Oh, can we like artistically flail?
Yeah.
Like,
we share a brain cell. I'm so sorry.
For color commentary. Fantastic. Sure. Do we have a team name? Can you supply that?
I don't know how you can hear that. It's so muffled. It's so muffled hearing through the headset. Anything happening outside the headset.
I basically live in a headset, and on Discord, it's really scary. I am one with the tech.
It's not the tech, it's the fact that like with the headphones on, he's muffled.
I also have one ear off.
Oh, so I've been at a disadvantage this whole time without knowing it. That's crazy.
And much like real life, it is a self-inflicted disadvantage. You could have done that at any time. And we like to call that a skill issue.
I thought you were being cool or whatever, so I was trying to match your cool. You know?
Now, when have you ever thought I was cool?
Time.
Oh, that's actually... I really wish you were recording that, Christian. I would love to have had that actually, like, in hard evidence of her thinking I'm cool. Yep. Love it. Okay. So introduce team. Oh, so stream, team, me, her. Okay, and I have a pre-game interview with Connor. Cool. Love it. Okay. But if not, we are very capable of filling the air. We are very capable. Yeah, we'll be fine. I'm gonna go get a pre-stream sip of Diet Coke.
Can't believe we're standing for this. I gotta hit it.
What's up?
What's up?
You dialed in?
No.
You got this. You got this. I'm gonna meme in
You
like
got the
the
introduction.
first. Oh, I've got the introduction.
You got the introductions. I'm awful at introducing myself.
to the point that maybe I shouldn't have the introduction. Yeah. I hope, Coach Christian, can you hear us at all? Give me a thumbs up. Heck yeah, look at that. That's my boy. That's my goat.
Can't see him nodding.
I mean, I can't because Christian is literally behind the halo. So,
Have you ever thought of just getting good?
yes. And I've decided that I'm going to be awful and make it everyone else's problem.
Sounds about right.
Like a Fox News anchor.
That's crazy.
It's going to be a great stream.
It'll be fun.
I love this. I'm so excited. Because usually it's Christian going here, and then I just get called up to do pre-game and post-game interviews, which are great, because then it's just Christian and I gaming and just like around the whole time, which is great.
I'm sorry if I stole your fun, Christian. I apologize.
Christian has been exciting to actually be a producer for a stream, because usually Christian is streaming, producing, casting, and then doing the tech difficulties.
Better not be any tech difficulties. I will come after you. Watch your back. Sleep with one eye open if there's tech difficulties.
Pink Panthers. Sounds like Pink Panthers. Sounds like a beat she'd hop on. Oh, I'm so excited. You and I have not played Overwatch since like the first couple months that we were dating.
Yeah, because you have a really bad luck.
I do. 1 minute warning. All right, let's do it. Coach Christian, I'm assuming you'll give me the 3, 2, 1 countdown when it's time for the intro. Love it. Let's get this bread. It does look like Christian is angelic, because like from my angle, his head is dead center in the halo ring.
That's beautiful.
Okay, I'm good. Hey, dog. Ah, it's cold. Goodness. We're so warm. Cool. Drim's invited us to a custom lobby. We need to hit Y to accept. Accept that. We are up against Wombat, Honoria, Unbeknown, who did not spell unbeknown correctly. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Valhallan Camp Hill. If you are tuning in, you are here to watch our Overwatch game. We will be casting the VHCHSillyBillys. Hello, everyone. I am Coach Kyle. I am joined in the booth by Coach Maddie. Coach Maddie, how you doing?
I'm doing well tonight. I am excited to see the gameplay go down.
I am fantastic as well, and I'm very excited to actually see this. So before we get started, let's talk a little bit about some of our qualifications. I am the head Fortnite coach over here at Valhalla and Camp Hill, and I also have the distinction of being the single greatest Reinhardt to ever play the game. I have been blessed by Winton himself to bring together Overwatch, and I have brought you in as well. Maddie, what are some of your qualifications for Overwatch?
I must say, I do have to disagree with you there on the greatest Reinhardt ever. As the support main that follows you around and keeps you hanging on your last limb.
You're welcome for that, by the way. Thank you for joining me for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
You know.
Oh, and it looks like we've got our first on-screen interview. Come on down, Coach Connor. Coach Connor, we're going to be sharing a microphone, so that's what's up, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, confident.
Yeah? Excited. So tell me a little bit about your opponent. Have you guys done any scouting at all? Are you guys prepared for this matchup? What are you expecting from this matchup?
No scouting. We don't generally do any scouting. I don't want it to get in any of my players' heads. Just let them focus on the game, play how they would play normally. I do know the enemy's record is, I think, 3-2. Currently, we are undefeated, 6-0. So
Let's go.
we're looking to keep that going forward. Play smart.
Love it. Is there anything specific, a skill, a strategy, a mindset, something you've been working on with the players that you really want to kind of reinforce and hope that they accomplish this game?
So definitely staying, not getting upset, staying cool, calm, collected, playing together as a team. We've had some struggles in the past of people trying to do like hero plays or go off on their own. Overwatch is a very team-based game. You try to do something by yourself, it most of the time doesn't work. So just hoping they play together as a team.
That makes sense. And is there anything else you want to leave with the audience back at home before we send you back to your team?
I hope you're ready for a good match.
All right. Thank you, Coach Connor. Thank you for your time. And I know that I am ready for a good match as well. So, Coach Maddie, tell us a little bit about Samoa as the map. I know it kind of got overshadowed by the release of Mauga, but what do we expect from this map from a technical standpoint?
So with this map, there are a lot of good high grounds to play around the center point, which is what they're trying to capture. Taking control of the high ground, especially like the right high ground, is very important for this map from what I've played for the first main Samoa map. Playing for like high ground and the point in general is overall kind of game winning on these maps specifically, just because of the fact that the way they have been designed. There are a lot of like points of flank. There are a lot of points towards the where you can go into the back line pretty easily for any DPS flanks, for Reapers to go around.
Okay. So knowing all that stuff, I'm assuming they're going to pick like people that can either take advantage of that high ground like Widowmaker, or are you thinking they're going to play more like high mobility DPS like Tracer or Reaper, somebody who can kind of get around and expose those flank points?
I'm definitely expecting to see probably some Ashes or a Reaper, Tracer, possibly a Diva, or Mauga even on his own map. He's pretty good on his own map. Mauga in general is pretty good.
Yeah, I was
going to
say, it does seem like Mauga is just pretty good no matter what.
Mauga is pretty...
All right. Pretty good?
Pretty good.
Pretty great. Pretty great.
He's definitely up there when it comes to our tanks right now.
One, it looks like we already have a Mauga as well. Looks like we got a Mauga, a Brigitte.
You have a Mauga, Brigitte.
A wonderful Coach Christian pulling up our audio screen. All right, and it looks like we're right back into the action. Now, again, we talked a little bit about the high ground points, but it looks like this choke point's kind of important too. Can you talk to us a little bit about like the importance of a tank with shield on these choke points?
So with these choke points, they are very exposed, as you can see in the center. There isn't a lot of cover to hide behind. There's only like 50 spots like while you're going into the choke. Going onto the choke, you become more exposed to your opponent, and you have to kind of use, if you don't have a shield tank, have to use the walls around you around the point, which leaves, if your opponent does have a shield, leaves them a little more in the advantage.
Yeah, and it looks like our opponents are kind of doing a pretty good job of forcing us away from those points, right? The guard break is getting sort of pushed off that point. Mauga doing a great job of continuing to sort of stand in there, supported by Juno as well, who's been a pretty fantastic support this season. At least fun to play and interesting to watch.
Juno is definitely probably one of Overwatch's better supports right now. Her ult is very fight winning. It gives you that heal, it gives you that damage boost that you're looking for when it comes to different fights. Her abilities in general are very good. Her hyper ring, which speeds your team in, and it can also help speed your team out whenever you think your team is in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, so it's good for offense and defense. Looks like our Mauga got a little bit overextended, kind of pushed a little bit. You know, Coach Connor was talking about the team wanting to play as a group, and it seems like they're kind of almost not taking this individually or like in small groups. I mean, is this just a factor of the map, or is it just our team making some maybe not the best engagements that they could? Do you think?
I think it could definitely be a mix of both. Some of the engagements that there have been so far, with losing that Reaper whenever they push too far towards their spawn, was definitely probably not best engagement that they could have. But at the same time, they could have recovered a little bit better if there was less of that open space and they approached it differently, like moving towards the walls more.
Yeah, I was going to say, we can see the Mauga sort of hugging the wall a little bit more, but again, he's pushing up a little bit beyond his team. I'm wondering what Coach Connor is saying about this, actually, in the comments. It's kind of fun. Oh, looks like they're making an engagement. That was a push. Okay.
Mauga ult.
Love it.
Mauga trapped off the tank from the team, which was actually a really good play and pushed them back. However, it looks like it did not work out as well for them as they thought.
Yeah, it's sort of getting collapsed on right now. We're back to Tracer, though. You know, it's interesting. I've been able to watch a couple of the games that FaZe has played this season. I'm kind of excited to see what they do as like a flanking player in this particular game. And you and I talked about this in the pregame, but I mean, just having access to Tracer and being able to zip around the corners and flank just like that, I mean, that's a huge advantage on a map that has a lot of corners like this.
A lot of the stuff that you have to keep in mind when it comes to like flank DPS in general is that like damage and kills is not like the main focus when it comes to a flanker. Of course, it's helpful and everything, but the biggest thing you want to do as like a flank, of course, is distract the team a little bit. Because like if you distract your supports from healing the tank, then your tank kills their tank, and then you win the team fight.
Yeah, and it looks like on that point, it looks like Tracer have been kind of caught off, and then the rest of the team sort of collapses there. It seems like the enemy is sort of, again, they're playing really well as a group, and I have yet to see the Valhalla Camp Hill SillyBillys sort of approach this from a group standpoint just yet. Again, I'm really interested to see if that changes as we sort of continue up. But like as you notice, if you're watching the stream, it seems like we're going in pairs and then sort of getting picked apart by the team when they're approaching all at once.
It definitely looks like that. I would say the Sombra seems like a pretty big threat to our team as of current. The Sombra has pulled off a couple of pretty good flanks on our own team and has just really kind of picked apart the fact that we're going in by pairs and maybe pushing a little too farther than too much than we should have been. Yeah,
I was gonna say it seems like the Sombra certainly has a really good idea of like who to hack. And one of the things that we saw about 5 minutes ago was we watched that Mauga get hacked, and then again once Mauga gets hacked and your main tank is in it's just at a disadvantage, man. It's so much harder to have the rest of that team fight. And I'm saying that as obviously the greatest tank to have ever played Overwatch, so you know my opinion counts for quite a lot in this game.
Of course it does.
So how do things change a little bit different now that we're on attack? We see some different character selections. It looks like, is that a Kiriko?
Yes, it is. That is a Kiriko.
Okay, there we go.
The Kiriko can definitely be very helpful here, especially whenever it comes to pushing in and helping with pushes or even like falling back. She's overall a very safe option, especially against an Ana. She can cancel out those Ana's nades, anti-nades on her own team with her Suzu.
Gotcha.
And her Suzu just works as like a cleanse. So like it stops any damage. It'll cleanse the hack as well if someone gets hacked.
Which is actually really good too, because obviously that we just saw Kiriko got hacked by that Sombra, and that Sombra is continuing again. But I like that our team seems to be pushing together, or at least for the most part, right? Kiriko kind of doing a little bit of a flanking motion here. a little quick parkour, and then just popping right back down again. So I do like that there seems like they're playing together, which is a really big deal.
It looks like they're they're playing a more aggressive comp. It looks like they have more of a dive Genji, and even Kiriko can do pretty good when it comes to flanking. Kiriko, although a support, does have very high damage output if you are able to get headshots with her kunai.
And it looks like, again, we got split up. Again, it seems like our enemy is sort of taking out whatever our flanker is, whether it's our Tracer or our Genji. And then once the flanker is down, they sort of collapse on the rest of the team. I mean, this is something we saw pretty much for the entirety of last map, too, which is one of those things.
I believe they are pushing a little too hard. They are getting, with that push, they were getting a little close to spawn doors. And at some point, whenever you're pushing too far just isn't of value anymore, because of the fact that like they will just spawn in, instantly in their spawn, and then you're still recovering from the last fight while they're just covering that small amount of distance since you've pushed so far.
Right. At some point, the aggression actually becomes a detriment to you rather than a benefit. The switch to Cassidy, though, kind of an interesting one. We hadn't seen them one earlier, and so now to see them here in this map. One of the things, how do you feel about Cassidy just as a DPS character? I know we talked about the faster flanking characters, but how do you feel about Cassidy in this map for this team comp?
So I honestly think Cassidy is actually a pretty good pick here, especially seeing how the other team has been flanking really well. Cassidy is a very good stopper of any flank DPS in general, with his stun grenade or his little hindrance. He can pretty much stop like a Tracer in their tracks or like a Sombra in their tracks, and your team can pretty much just collapse on whoever he has stunned.
Well, and we're watching Faced actually do a really good job of that fan the hammer as he's like sort of getting a lot of good DPS out from a distance. It's interesting that kind of poke and that kite and what that does to sort of stop an enemy team from continuing to press forward.
The damage output that Cass has is very like good for their team, especially considering the fact that like they were going really close ranged at first, like with the Genji or like with the Tracer we saw in the first round. They were trying to be very like aggro, very close, very aggressive. Cassidy can still be aggro and close aggressive like that, but he also does have that damage from a slight distance, meaning he doesn't have to be all up in their face with like that Sim who could do a lot of damage up close.
It looks like Ramatra got stunned, and then the stun got broken, which is really good. Again, some of the stuff that we talked about earlier. Oh, looks like Penguin is coming back in. Oh, nice. This is a Sombra skin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
It's so funny because like I'm so used to playing with all of the base skins. It takes me a couple seconds to be like, oh man, what is the new drip, as the kids call it? What do you think about the switch from Mauga to Ramatra this map? It seems like the Ramatra player, which is Lamone, is doing a much better job of kind of handling that pressure and managing that the enemy aggression than he was as Mauga last game.
Ramatra is definitely a very good pick against shield tanks. Because of the fact of his ability, whenever he goes into that bigger Nemesis form, he's able to punch through shields and barriers, meaning that like if the enemy tank is low, you're able to do damage to that shield.
Yeah, you're able to capitalize on it, which makes a ton of sense. Well, it looks like we unfortunately lost that map, but I mean, hey, it's much more interesting, at least for me, to be able to see some of the ways that our play pattern changes. We get to see the play of the game. There's, of course, the hacking. But again, that's another reason we switched to Sombra in this map. We get to watch it there. Get to see the Cassidy from the enemy's perspective. But yeah, tough loss. But I mean, I'm very curious to see what Coach Connor is going to do, moving forward into the next game. Let's see how he sort of changes his strategy. I'd be very curious to see how that's like.
Especially like seeing how that whole play went, and that seeing that maybe the hyper aggressive like take that they were trying to go for just possibly wasn't working. I'm curious to see if they'll change to maybe more like holding the line or like being defensive or playing more defensive heroes, something where you have to wait out the enemy's cooldowns before pushing in.
Do you think talk me through that. Let's assume that you're going to be coaching this. What were some of the defensive heroes that you might encourage our players to pick?
Let's see here. For the comp they were running specifically, because specifically in the second round, they were going you saw like the Sim, you saw the Sigma, you saw the opposing Kiri. What I probably would have done was took advantage of the high ground that was on the left to them, using things like an Ashe or someone.
Widowmaker maybe? Or do you
Widowmaker
want
can
someone with
definitely
a
be
higher
good.
rate of fire?
Probably like a higher rate of fire. Someone because like although that high ground is very good, it can be pushed pretty easily. So you want to be able to make sure you have someone who has a higher rate of fire and then also has an ability that they can get back pretty quickly to use like an escape. So like with Ashe, you have like her coach gun. Her coach gun comes back faster than like a Widow grapple, which is I believe a 12 to 14 second cooldown.
Makes
and then
sense.
the Ashe coach gun is about like a 6 to 7 second cooldown.
Okay. And then for tanks, if you're thinking more, I know we popped into an Orisa pick earlier in, I think, the first match, and then that sort of got switched back over to, we got to see Ramatra again. What tank are you thinking if you're going to go with more defensive? Are you going to go with my beloved Reinhardt? Are you more of a Winston pick? Again, what is going to give us the most advantage on defense now that we know the enemy is playing with this side of aggression?
Against a Sigma, personally, like, if we were still on that second point, even on this map, the Winston pick is very good. The Winston is very good to like to have on the back line because Sigma is a very slow tank. It's very hard to him, especially if he's pushed forward past his team to get back to his team. Even D.Va, so like the faster tanks like D.Va or Winston to like push the team or like take over high ground so the enemy team doesn't have that chance of getting the high ground and having the advantage with the high ground.
Gotcha. Well, it looks like we talking about that. It looks like they have picked Widowmaker, so I'll be curious to see if they decide to take the high ground with her. Looks like we've got a Widowmaker, a Kiri, a Winston.
Good headshot with that Widowmaker on that.
Yeah, what a headshot!
Symmetra.
Oh, nice. This is the thing. It's so fun to be able to see like what a really good Widowmaker can do. Oh, got hit by the turret. Oh. Okay.
You can see right there just how much Symmetra, like if you don't know if Symmetra turrets are there, how much they can do to you.
Yep.
Like
and
if you're just
Winston
walking
has already
in.
gone down. This is exactly what happened. He was pushed up a little bit too far.
I don't think he was expecting the Sim turrets around like the choke point there or the chokehold there. And so he pushed in, not knowing that his team was trying to take care of the remaining turrets that were there, and then healing up the team before the next push.
Right, and I was going to say, and that maybe speaks to an issue with comms. I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, we don't get the ability to hear what the players are saying to one another. But again, it goes to saying what we were talking about earlier. Positioning is so important, especially with those Symmetra turrets. We saw that last game with the Sombra doing the hacking. Winston's pushed up. Hopefully, though, it looks like his teammates are behind him this time. So, going to be maybe not a terrible push, actually. It looks like he was able to sort of, be the aggressor and sort of cause a little bit of damage, maybe slow him down a little bit, which is great.
It looked like he definitely got some cooldowns out of the other team with that dive there. But it looks like they're still kind of recovering from that dive and healing up their Winston from that. And they're trying to figure out how to push this chokehold. This is a very hard chokehold to push sometimes.
Now, would you push through the chokehold, or would you attempt to go around the chokehold? Is it possible to sort of maybe maneuver? Is it even worth maneuvering around like that?
There's not really any way to go around this choke, which is why it's such a good choke in the game. I mean, there's that path to the right, but then it leaves you into an enclosed room where if the enemy collapses in on you, it's pretty hard to escape that, alive.
Yeah, then you're in big trouble. And that's why I was asking, right? Because I know that there is that one point of ingress and egress. And you can see Lamone kind of ducking into this building here right now.
It is a very good spot of cover. It's probably just not the best place to push from.
Right. It's not the place that you want to push your entire team into with the fear of an ult like that.
Right.
While they're positioning, this is something that you and I actually talked about before the game because, I was asking some questions because I as the greatest Overwatch player of all time, I still have to ask these things. You're always open to learning.
You always have to improve, yeah.
You always have to improve. You and I were talking about the importance of cooldown management. So, like the trade like there with that Winston or like that earlier push that he just made, is it worth losing a character? Is it worth losing a lot of health, slowing yourself down to kind of force the enemy to use some of their better abilities? Talk to me a little bit about cooldown management.
So, of course, you have to look at what the enemy team is running. So, for example, they were running an Ana earlier, so getting out like a sleep or like an anti-nade early is very good because those cooldowns are much longer. So it takes a longer time for them to come back, meaning that Ana is now vulnerable and her team is more vulnerable than they would have been had she not used those cooldowns for a dive where that Winston dove in.
That makes sense. And speaking of cooldowns, it looks like they've been able to use a lot of the cooldowns to sneak behind. Enemy Cassidy sneaks behind, takes out the Kiri. Unfortunately, it looks like we've got Face still doing his best work. This is May. again, everyone has way more dripped out skins than I do, so it takes me always a couple seconds. But looks like Mei is kind of going around doing a little bit of flanking, which is so fun.
The Mei and Venture pick are very good, especially against this comp, because they are very, they're pretty. Mei especially is a very like tanky DPS, especially with her ice block. As you just saw the ability there, she's able to heal herself and then keep like contesting the point over time, meaning it's harder for the other team to not only eliminate her, but also it makes it easier for them to regroup on point and gives them more time.
And we're seeing this exactly here, where like Mei's tankiness kind of comes into play as she's able to push off the Cassidy, which is great. I mean, again, Face is doing some great stuff here. And what I love is you can see they're pushing together now, which is awesome. They're pushing them through a choke point. You know, they've got a couple people escorting the payload, so that moves up a little bit. It is odd that we're sort of moving so far in this sort of flanking maneuver. Talk to me a little bit about that. Is that usual? Would you expect that sort of a far off flank like that?
So for this map, this high ground right here is pretty good. I'm not sure if it's like super good for their team comp that they got going on because of the fact that they are all pretty close range characters. But like, let's say if they were like running an Ashe, that high ground would be very important. It's also important that the enemy team does not get that high ground. If they have like that Ana,
and we can see it right
or
there.
like that soldier right there.
And they just completely deleted them. That's unfortunate, though, for sure.
So it definitely does make sense, like wanting to take over that high ground and wanting to push for that high ground. But I do believe that they pushed a little bit too far there.
I was going to say, and it actually is so interesting that we are talking about this, right? We talked literally about the importance of a high rate of fire, a high damage champ on one of those high ground points, and we're getting to see exactly why that's so critical.
Soldier is a very good pick here. He has that high rate of fire that we were talking about, along with the mobility. He has that run, so like if he's in trouble, he can just run away.
Yeah.
He has that higher mobility. See, like he's able to kind of sneak around the corner there. He's
very limber for an old man. He's very limber for an old man. Captain America wishes he was that limber.
And unfortunately, you know, he didn't get back to his team, and then we got slept, but
you know, it happens.
It does happen.
In fairness, the guy is like, what, 85, 90 years old?
Close enough,
He's out in the retirement home doing stretching and calisthenics. He's doing the toe touches. He's sitting there doing the P90X every now and again.
Just every once in a while. You know, you see him on the exercise ball as well every once in a while.
He's sitting there doing Pilates with like 12 missed text messages from Reaper.
Yeah.
I love it. And again, we talked about this before, the importance of those shield tanks running those choke points. Maybe a little bit of the Ramatra. Look at that. Oh, but it looks like our flanking. Oh, and it's Soldier 76 on the high ground yet again. Ramatra doing his best. Lamone doing his absolute best.
That cast ult on the high ground was
just absolutely brutal. Oh, and then the Mei goes down too. Again, this is
fortunately, it does look like they used a lot of... Well, I guess the round is over. I suppose I didn't see all the time. I was like, oh, they used all their ults.
Come on.
So we have another push to look forward to.
Complete. And we did look like we get it. That's awesome. Good.
So I'm curious to see how they're going to change up their playstyle now that they are playing on defense instead and are going to be playing against the attacking team.
I was going to say maybe we will get to see one of those high rate of fire, high damage champs on the high ground. Be kind of nice.
Probably not for this first point. I mean, as you saw with the opposing team on the first point, you saw how they held with like a Symmetra there with her turrets. You want to play like very defensive heroes. Even Mei would be a good pick here. Mei can be a very defensive hero. You've seen her tankiness. You saw it on like the point while they were attacking. You saw it while they were pushing in. And as you can see, the Mei right there.
And you called it. It looks like Bunny's got himself. Oh, love Juno for this pick as well, which is absolutely great. Lamone seems to be loving the Ramatra pick. And it's so fun, like, talking to you about this, because it's so interesting how the map picks change depending on where on the map they are, right? Like, we want to, you know, exploit those choke points, so we're going to pick shield characters. We're going to pick characters like Mei, ones that we can utilize to make those choke points really miserable for the other team. But it's so cool that that's a big difference, like, depending on where on the map you are.
Yeah, and it also, you know, depends on if you're playing like attack or defense and what type of point you're playing. Like as of right now, they're playing like a push point. So you capture the point and then you push the payload. It would be different if this was like a push map with a push bot where you're both attacking each other. You'll see different comps for different things. And as you can see with the defense, Ramatra's a very good pick for defense. And whenever he goes into that Nemesis form and he's blocking, he's very tanky. He's very hard to...
And we can see the Mei wall right there on top doing exactly what we wanted it to do, stopping them from using that high ground to get the damage off. Looks like our team is trying to force them back.
That Venture boop off of the high ground was very good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they are able to just take that high ground again because Winston's jump is very short cooldown. They also have a very good attacking team going on.
Well, and it also seems too like there was not everybody all at the right place. Like it seemed like we had, again, 2 people sort of doing the main, or 2 or 3 players doing the main work of like being there, and then the other 2 people that may be busy flanking. But would love to see them sort of group up and push together. That'd be kind of nice, or defend together, I guess, in this case.
At this point, it's with this chokehold, it's a lot of like patience. So you gotta like make different decisions based on what the enemy does. Like a very important thing is to like look out for things like Suzu on the other team, or like watch for Winston dive, or the Mercy flying into like a bad position, trying to be aggressive with the team.
What a Mei wall. Talk about patience and positioning. What a Mei wall, but it doesn't look like it's enough. Looks like they slept right through that side point.
And then that Junkrat trapping our tank to stop him from helping in the team. That was not very good there for that team.
But again, it's nice to see that the Mei pick has been sort of essentially paying dividends in this match.
The Mei pick is definitely very good here. I think the Venture pick is still good. The Venture Venture is a very like close range character as well. They are very like tanky as well as Mei. They have the ability where they can go underground and then escape. They pretty much have that escape, as you can see there from our Lucio screen.
Come on, Mei, survive. Oh, it looks like, hey, oh my gosh, is that a Cassidy on the high ground? Okay,
that is an Ashe on the high ground.
Sorry, you know what?
Ashe on
it's
high
a
ground
cowboy,
here.
gosh darn it.
Ashe on the high ground here is actually very good for this team. As you can see, she is doing a lot of damage. With her being up there, it definitely takes a lot of space.
Yes, it does.
So it prevents the other team from wanting to push in and push her off of that space.
Right, and it's exactly what we're talking about, right? High rate of fire, high damage characters, people like Soldier, people like Cassidy, people like Ashe. I do know the difference. Obviously, as the greatest Overwatch player alive, as it is.
Here we see the Ramatra ult and the Venture ult come out. It looks like the Echo has taken over high ground, though, which is not very good for this team.
No, not very good at all, because then she's able to sort of take out those people on the high ground and really play kind of havoc on some of our flankers and our supports.
I believe our Venture has pushed in a little too far there, and it has not given our team enough time to recover back to their Ramatra. We might be seeing a Ramatra loss here, too.
We did.
That's another part of, like, whenever you push forward in too deep. Like, as you saw there, whenever they respawned, they were able to get back to the point faster because of the fact that we were pushed so far into the choke.
And then again, we get punished again a little bit for that push. I will say the one thing, too, that we didn't get a chance to talk about as it was happening, but you can see them sort of soaring overhead, and that's actually part of the reason that forced the Ashe off that high ground earlier. Whoever they're playing their Junkrat's doing a really good job of sort of mortar lobbying into those positions, knowing where our team is at.
Junkrat can definitely be a very dangerous character, especially with... if he can hit his shots and everything.
Looks like it's a big fight. Come on. Ah.
Unfortunately, it looks like that Junkrat tire took out a couple of our teammates there last second.
Literally, we saw him make the great united push right into the Junkrat ult, unfortunately.
As you can see with the Mei
play. Game from our boy. Oh, what a great play. This
As
was
you can
so
see, you
much fun to
can
watch.
see the example of the Mei's tankiness here and see how she's able to hold that point and be able to take over kind of with how tanky she can be as a DPS.
Well, and one of the things that I really liked about how Faced handled that fight was like getting to use the wall offensively, really cutting off the other half of the team from taking them down while they were doing damage to the squishier people on the back. I mean, it's one of the things that I love about Overwatch is that these characters that often have quote unquote set roles, when you play them in really interesting or asymmetric ways, it leads to some cool plays like that.
It really does. Like, a lot of tankier characters, like you're seeing more recently, is our Venture and our Mei. So, like, Venture is a fairly new character to the game.
Right.
We have realized that, like, Venture can be very tanky. Venture has a very good escape with going underground, being able to burrow underground, and then get out of the enemy backline and everything. And then Mei has that ability to ice block on the point and be able to hold that point.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. Again, one of the things that I like is that asymmetric movement that we talked about like a couple seconds ago. But being able to move in unconventional or difficult to predict ways seems to be like a skill set all its own in Overwatch. Even if it's not even technically a skill, right? Like being able to fly, being able to climb, being able to tunnel. All of those things are particularly really useful.
Right, yeah. As we saw with that last game there, the Echo and the Pharah picks were very good for the other team because of the fact that if you go a character who can fly, that is a very easy off angle to take.
Right.
So typically, like with any other like DPS or any other character, you have to walk around and like take maybe like a longer way to like get onto a good off angle. Whenever it comes to like flying characters like Echo or Pharah, you are able to just fly straight up into the air, and then that averts the other team's gaze to you in the air instead of on the team that they are looking at.
Right. It's great for sort of splitting that attention. And one of the things that we saw, and actually you calmed that pretty early on into the match, was that those flying characters were able to force us off the high ground and stop us from sort of utilizing that position as much as the opponent was able to utilize it against us last game.
Exactly. High ground on like a lot of these points are very good, especially like with the different team comps you've got going on, whether you see it on the enemy team or on our team. Like the Ashe on the high ground, you saw the amount of damage that did and how urgent they were to get our Ashe off of the high ground.
Yeah.
And right whenever our Ashe was off the high ground, they weren't able to regroup and they weren't able to get that high ground back. And overall, I think that that really turned in their favor.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we're looking at the new map, which looks like it's going to be Eichenwald, which is going to be very exciting. Maddie, what are you expecting for team picks from a map like this one?
So for Eichenwald, you are going to see probably like for the defensive team, a lot of defensive characters again. So we might see that Sim come back, or we might see that Mei come back, or that Venture. Even like you could see like a Brig here. Brig is not a bad play. Juno is also not a bad play. Juno's truthfully never a bad play. Juno's a very good support when it comes
now,
to the game.
Are you saying that as our analyst, or are you saying it as somebody who is a self-professed Juno simp? I have to ask.
I'm saying it as both.
Okay.
Juno's ult is very good. Like I said, that the amount of healing that her ult gives off and the damage boost that it gives to you is just... It just makes it to where like you're pretty much just like a walking, almost unkillable force, and you can just pretty much like walk on any team.
So nothing to do with your own personal love for the character and the hundreds of matches that you have played with Juno since Juno came out.
No, of course not.
No, couldn't be. No, of course not.
Just like how Mercy isn't the best character in the game.
Oh. I mean, I am a little biased. I feel like she comes as a package deal with, of course, my favorite character, Soldier 76. No, I'm kidding. So one more thing.
And they both come with the exercise ball.
Oh, and they both come with the exercise ball.
Yeah.
Except that I think Angela's probably doing it in a much more meaningful way than Soldier 76. Where I feel like they thaw out for like every bad Overwatch situation. He's like, guys, can I just go to bed? Like, I'm so tired. Like when they made the skin, didn't they have the skin with him with the pajamas and the fuzzy slippers where he just looks like he's really tired?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
that's
also
the
have,
most more accurate skin.
They have, I think it's called Girlmaster 76. And it's just peak like tired dad 76. And he is just like standing there, tired. He's got the little bags under his eyes.
Tired and exhausted.
He's sitting there holding the little what are those called? Like whenever you pull steaks off.
Tongs?
Yeah, tongs.
Tongs.
There you go. Yeah. Tongs. He's holding the tongs.
Something important to mention while we are waxing philosophical about the love of Soldier 76 skins. So it looks like Camp Hill needs to reverse sweep this in order to take the W, which is a big deal considering that the SillyBillys are undefeated up to this point. So, I mean, what do you think the pressure is like right now for our boys?
I'm sure the pressure is very high. I'm sure they're all feeling the stress right about now, especially after those two matches. They were I feel like they have a very good chance. Those matches were very close.
Yeah.
I think the pressure just might be getting to them a little bit. And I think they need to kind of... calm down a little bit, tell themselves they can do it.
Deep breath, picture the Soldier 76 grilling skin.
With the tongs and everything.
Really
that always makes me relax.
I'll be honest, if they didn't put in like a Blizzard unofficial version of the crisp white New Balances that I feel like every suburban dad has and busts out when it's time to grill. I mean, it's going to be good. So, it looks like we are back to it, my friends. Ooh, I'm so excited. All right, where are we going? What is the map? Do we know?
It looks like we are in Junk City.
Yes, very cool.
Junk City is I believe it is called King of the Hill.
Okay.
So what it is it's you have to get 3 points up at the top. You'll see that there are 3 capture points. Once you get to 3, you win the
Cool.
map, pretty much.
Nice. I was going to say, this is one of the more new maps that they added with Junker Queen.
Yes, it is.
One of the very important reasons we needed to release a second Overwatch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, that was the whole reason they put 2 behind Overwatch.
100%, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a small indie studio, right? You
It's
can't
just a
say
small
much
company.
about Hailstorm Entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the Frosty River Entertainment.
Frosty River Electronics. All right, it looks like they're pushing in. All right, looks like we have
Looks
the
like we got a-
Kiriko.
Yep, Kiriko. It looks like we have a Lucio. Lucio is definitely not a bad pick here to be able to speed the team in for
Yeah,
good
it seems like there's
pushes.
a lot of already a really early engagement again. Oh, nice! One of the enemies down. Good.
That Kiri pick is huge
Yeah,
for
that
this
Kiri
team.
is again, one of the things. Oh my gosh, the second one down. Yes, perfect. Attacking the flashpoint. Love it. One of the reasons I love the Orisa pick too. It seems like Orisa is a great tank, not just because they're able to defend so well, but like Orisa on offense is just a beast sometimes.
Orisa can definitely be a wall.
Yeah, just a.
Orisa is what I would like to say the golden wall because she has a fortify, which gives her an armor ability and also I believe gives her damage resistance.
Can we also just appreciate that you can just lob a big spear at somebody? Oh, but it looks like we've been lobbed ourselves. And again, we pushed a little bit too far there, and it looks like the counter push is coming.
It looked like we peeked a little too far out of cover there. I feel like if we had been just a little closer to that cover, we could have made that out alive.
It's okay though, but Junkrat, Penguin doing a great job with Junkrat. Again, unfortunately goes down, but doing a really great job of sort of harrying the enemy, making sure that their approach gets a little bit slowed. And again, I love watching FaZe with the Mei, man. We saw FaZe absolutely crush it with this Mei.
Definitely the Mei can definitely be good picks on this, especially in the overtime because each point you're capturing gets an overtime.
Love that wall. Again, making great use of the wall, sort of splitting the team up, forcing them to sort of readjust. Again, we're hearing Lamone call for a back. I mean, it's loud enough that even I can hear it over the headsets. So, I mean, it's good, though. I love watching players make these sort of... Oh, we got hindered. No. Again, I love watching players make these kind of calls because, total ownership of the game, which is great.
It looks like they're separating that Junker Queen from her team.
Which is such a smart move. Again, when your Junker Queen's away from everybody else, her effectiveness really is diminished.
It looks like, however, they have gotten an elimination on our Mei, which might prove to be pretty bad for our team upcoming here.
Say, yeah, FaZe being able to sort of wall off those small things and sort of harry the enemy squishies has definitely been a really good call. But again, I love what Kiri's doing. I love that Lamone's poking his way out, and then he's pushing. Let's see if he's rewarded for his aggression.
It looks like they are separating their team, the other team as of right now. Got a big Orisa ult coming in.
There we go. Using that golden wall.
Unfortunately, it does not look like that worked out for them, that final push.
No, it did not. That golden wall got taken down
We had an
brick by
attempt
brick.
to stall by our Junkrat, but it doesn't look like he was able to touch point in time. So he's just going to have to regroup with his team.
Right. Again, really strong move here by Penguin. One of the things that I really liked doing was that he was able to sort of try to jump in and contest that point. I mean, it's something that I think, maybe newer players might not be as familiar with, but, being willing and able to take that sort of early death with that massive amount of damage in order to contest the point, it's definitely a skill.
It definitely is, especially like being able to survive. Like pretty much, it's not quite the 1v5 since you're just playing to stall point and you're using cover and everything, and then you have your escape. But it still takes a lot to just like not instantly die to the enemy's cooldowns.
Right, and it looks like they're attacking the flashpoint. You can see Genji block a lot of bullets. We're switching back to the Orisa right now, getting tons of damage in with that cannon arm, which is wonderful. But we need the rest of the team here to. Oh, good. One kill down. All right. Push.
Oh, that Kiri ult though. That Kiri ult is huge for the other team.
Kiri ult was devastating. Again, Genji doing his best job to sort of backflip her out of this like it's Leon Kennedy. Love that move on his part. But again, not enough backflips in the tank, unfortunately.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah. Oh, and we might
I
see
feel like if he
Ming.
did just a couple more backflips, he would have gotten out of there.
I often find that backflipping is the best way through my problems. Now, again, we're getting to watch Face sort of do what he does best, which is harry the enemy. You could actually see a little bit earlier, but this entrance was originally sealed off by that wall. Smart move to stop the enemy from sort of pushing maybe even deeper into our side of the map, which was a great call. And now that we've regrouped, we're sort of pushing. I'm really hopeful that this is going to be a big push for us.
It's really nice to see them pushing for this high ground. This high ground can be very important for this point.
Yep, and I love it. Arisa sort of diving down. Oh, again, Face doing a great job of sort of diving.
That was an amazing dodge of the Junker Queen ult with that ice block there.
Was really good. That was some Looney Tunes like, whoo!
I unfortunately don't think it paid off there.
No, it didn't. Again, this is one of the things that we're noticing, though, is that the other team seems to be pushing together, and they're really good at pushing together. We've had success when we, again, like you pointed out earlier, when we split up that Junker Queen, but it seems like either our flanks are taking too long, or we're just not pushing together, and we're really being punished for that.
It looks like that maybe we aren't reacting quickly enough to a push. Like maybe some people just aren't seeing that push, or maybe they are seeing something else compared to the rest of their team. Like as you can see, these pings over here, and how we split off there to ping these enemies that are coming for like a backline play here. It looks like that might be good for our team here because it has separated a couple of their teammates from each other.
Bunny goes down though, unfortunately. It looks like Face is continuing to go. Face has switched from Mei to Tracer, which is an interesting swap.
The Tracer is not a bad call here at all. Unfortunately, they get taken out by that Reaper ult. That was just a unfortunately timed Reaper ult for our team there.
Yeah. Ramatra trying to do their absolute best, using that form to kind of keep everybody there. Again, importance of those shields in a narrow map.
They're doing a very good job about backing out and not being able and not staggering their team anymore.
Yes, I was going to say, it does seem like we've been very good at the sort of fighting retreat this game. And actually, all of the games so far, we've been very good at, like, okay, if a push goes poorly or the enemy pushes too deeply into us, we have been really, really, really good about sort of fighting our way as we fall back.
I definitely feel like we are doing well about, like, not staggering a lot. We are doing pretty good about grouping up initially. I think with the pressure of the other team, it's a little hard to stay grouped up sometimes.
Yeah, and again, we're seeing that sort of play out sort of game after game after game tonight, which is it is a thing that happens. It's an unfortunate thing that happens, but it is a thing that happens. And again, Ramatra trying to do his absolute best, but again, just not being pushed too far. Not a whole lot of options, though, for the Ramatra
Looks like the
player,
Genji's going to be coming in for the touch to make sure that they
Come
still
on,
have
Penguin.
time.
Yep, good job. He stalls it.
That's a very good touch right
It's
there.
a
Unfortunately, he's
really
not
good
able
touch.
to stay in, but that Sombra comes in and retouch, or not that Sombra, that Tracer comes in and
for the
retouches the
retouch,
point.
tries to keep it again conflicted, and then blinks right back out again. Love that move.
Tracer is a very good character for contesting
100%.
point.
Yep, but it does.
With her ability to be able to get in and get out, this Ramatra ult is very big. However, he is antied right now, and it looks like that might have been the cause of him
we got one down.
dying there.
Oh, Orbit Discord. Okay.
Discord Orb is very scary, especially for someone as squishy as
Unbeknown
Tracer.
goes down. Honoria goes down.
Unfortunately, we are not able to retouch in time.
Wow. What a great contest, though, in the final moments of that game by the boys. Really, truly a wonderful little counter.
You can really see how hard they are trying to win this back and everything for them. I do believe they have been playing very well. I believe they have just been making a lot of mistakes here and there. And I think a lot of it is also just unfortunate timing with certain ults or certain flakes just not going as well as they thought they would.
Well, it feels kind of like a death by 1,000 cuts, right? Like one of the things that we talk about for all of the games here, and I know if I talk to Coach Ben about Valorant, if I talk to myself or Coach Jonathan about Fortnite or Apex, one of the things that we talk about over and over and over and over again is you gotta engage as a group, and you gotta be ready as a counterpoint as a group. So it looks like we are going to be ready for some interviews, which is going to be really exciting, which means I unfortunately have to say goodbye to you, Coach Maddie, which means I know you're going to be so sad.
My heart is broken. We can't talk about Soldier 76 anymore.
I know. We can't talk about the Dad 76 skins, but thank you so much again for your wonderful analysis, for making me look good in the booth. I know that's a very difficult task. To anybody that can see the screen, that's a really hard task to make me look relatively decent. So I really appreciate it. It does. It does take. I mean, you're a support in real life as you are in the game.
Yeah.
Probably even a better support in real life than I think you would be in the game.
I don't think so. My Mercy gameplay is pretty.
Yeah, you can't fly around in real life.
I can't fly around in real life.
If we give you
I
a
can't res
jetpack-
in real life.
If we give you a jetpack, you might be untouchable.
If you give me the ability to resurrect somebody, I might be untouchable.
I mean, at that point, it's a total and complete wash. But thank you again, Coach Maddie, for joining us. Thank you for your analysis. Thanks for being part of the casting booth.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me on today.
All right, I'm going to get prepped for them. Get out of here, Coach Maddie. Go take a powder. Go grab a soda. Go hang out. I'm going to fill the air and talk to Coach Christian. Hello, and welcome back. I am here in the booth. What is up, Valhallen family? I know. The main level analyst is out, and unfortunately, you're stuck with just the world's greatest Reinhardt player. But it's wonderful. Oh my gosh! And I get to have my first post-match interview with the man himself. Hello, Lamont, aka Landon. Landon, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right, so I am doing fantastic. Let's make sure we talk in that. I want everybody at home to hear your beautiful words. So, by the way, some fantastic Ramacha gameplay from you tonight. Really great to watch you sort of make those counter pushes as the enemy is engaging. What would you have done differently this evening?
I mean, the only thing I can even think of to do differently was just try to push a little bit more against the SIG, but I couldn't really push as well as I could have because it was constant this 4v5 situation.
Well, and that was actually one of the things that we noted at the booth was it seemed like you guys weren't either pushing together or that you were trying to do flanks, but it was taking too long. Walk me through your strategy process, as you guys are playing those games.
I mean, we were just trying to push up slowly, just take space and take it away from Sigma.
Yeah.
But we just really couldn't because the sim would just shred us pretty much the moment we get close. And we couldn't dive at the same time.
Right.
It was just so much uncoordinated.
Yeah. I mean, uncoordinated. That's maybe not the kindest word you could say, but I think it's not necessarily a bad word for what we saw, right? I mean, part of it was it did look like the enemy had a really good counter push against you pretty much every time, unfortunately. What is there? Would you guys maybe have swapped some things around with champion selection or team comp, anything like that?
I don't think team comp was this problem.
No. Okay. Good to know. I will say, Landon, as somebody who is, again, I'm going to give everyone the deep lore. As somebody who is your Fortnite coach, it is so cool to watch you play Overwatch, by the way. We were sitting here geeking about the Orisa pushes that you did, especially at in Junktown, which was absolutely fantastic. Like, when you made that, it wasn't a solo push, but when you made that push into the center in Junktown as Orisa, what was going through your head? What kind of plays were you trying to set up?
I was just trying to pick off Zen because Zen destroys me.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything else.
But it worked. Like, I mean, for the most part, like, again, it worked. It was kind of cool to witness, and not just that, but you guys were able to really, really isolate Junker Queen in one of those team fights, which was kind of cool too. So, yeah. Again, Landon, I'll be honest. I know it's a tough loss. I know you guys fought really, really hard. We were both sitting here in the booth going, man, dude, those guys are working their tail ends off. So, any last words that you want to say or share with the wonderful folks at home?
Not really.
No? All right, brother. Hey, thank you so much for taking time to interview, man. I really appreciate it, and thank you for a wonderful match, Landon. How we doing?
I'm doing amazing.
I am fantastic. I am Coach Ott. Please introduce yourself to the fine folks at home. What's your gamer tag?
My gamer tag is Face It At All. I am the IGL for the team, and I play Tracer or Flag CPS mainly. Today was a mess, though. There was no excuse for what went on.
I was going to say, we watched a lot of the May. One of the things that we actually, and again, you'll be able to watch this when you go back through and you look at the VOD, we actually pointed out your switch from Tracer to May was like one of the things that we thought was a pretty brilliant decision in general because of the choke points on some of the match. So I'll walk the audience through why you made that decision.
Well, our main issue was that their team was getting a lot of space for no reason. We were really struggling with communicating our holds and making space. So I made that May swap to cut their tank off from their supports or exploit their DPS when they go in for dives to just stop them from rushing in and taking all the space.
Yeah.
Because when they got a hold of that area, we struggled taking that.
Well, and one of the things I think you guys did very well, and again, I'm gonna give Landon, who's standing off camera, another shout out. One of the things that you guys seemed to do very well was switching your picks at different points during the map. As the IGL, were you making those calls, or did you sort of know going in that your team members had certain positions and certain champions they had sort of selected, heroes, I should say. I keep calling them champions, but certain heroes that they already had selected that they were ready to swap to.
I think I'm pretty good at knowing this team's strengths and weaknesses. Today we were better, but it was just a mental situation. Mentals matter more than anything.
Yeah.
No matter what we swap to, if our head's in the gutter, we're not winning.
Yeah.
As evident today. But I want to make this clear. It's not over for Camp Hill.
No, not at all. I mean, listen, is the VHCHSillyBillys, if we saw anything today, it's that you guys were willing to work your tail ends off for every single inch of that match. And I think that's pretty clear to not just myself and everyone else in the casting booth, but everyone watching at home. Other than the mental, is there any one thing that you would have changed during this game today?
This game, other than mental.
Other than mental, I know, because I think both you and Landon have both
I think
hinted at
we
that.
could have used a lot more communication.
Okay. And then how are you as the IGL going to kind of help your team move forward to that greater communication for the next
When I
game?
get home, I'm planning on playing with some of the players so we can just VOD review, go over what we did wrong. I'm definitely looking forward to playoffs, and I don't feel like making this a bad end.
No, and I'll be honest, again, very biased. I'm not going to tell you I'm not biased, but I have a good feeling about the end for the VHCHSillyBillys, if I'm being honest. But
this team got this. I'm extremely confident in this team. We had a very strong start. We're struggling a little now, but without a little struggle,
well, then you never learn, right? Exactly that.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you again so much, man, for coming out. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the interview, and again, good luck on the rest of the matches. I am excited to cast them, so this is going to be a fun time.
I appreciate it, man.
Hey, thank you. And now we meet yet again. Coach Connor.
Yo.
How are we doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Just a little disappointed, but that's all right.
I mean,
happens.
that happens. I don't know if you heard Hayden talk about it, but again, got to have some struggles, I guess, to move forward, move past them. As the coach, what was the one issue that you think resulted in you guys losing tonight?
We just let them get in our head.
Okay.
I would say we were playing scared, didn't play our normal gameplay. We essentially just thought they were better than us from the start. Mm-hmm. They weren't, but we played like it, and I just let them control the game.
And that certainly shows. One of the things that I'm going to touch on that both Hayden and Landon mentioned in their post-game interviews with me was some trouble with communication. Can you walk me through what happened, what the breakdown was, and maybe how we can address it moving forward in some other games? Yeah,
so one thing we have is when we start losing, we go quiet. We don't really communicate because we get upset, get in our head. Overwatch is a very team-based game. You have to communicate. You're not communicating, you're not playing well.
Yeah.
That's just what happened. We just weren't calling who we were targeting, weren't planning out ults, kind of just using stuff whenever we got it. Just weren't playing as a team. We were playing essentially as 5 individuals instead of one team.
And again, this is something I know you and I have talked about Overwatch, and I know Coach Ben has mentioned for Valorant, and Coach Jonathan and I have mentioned both for Apex and Fortnite. Doesn't really matter how talented you are individually if you're playing against a team.
Yep.
Yeah. So walk me through one of the things that I talked with Hayden and Landon about was the switching, which I thought was actually done really, really well throughout this game. It did seem like you guys were making really smart selections about swapping different heroes for different situations. Walk me through your process. Obviously, as the coach, I know the IGL makes a lot of those calls, but walk me through how you as a team sort of selected which heroes you guys would swap to and how.
Yeah, okay. So most of the time, Overwatch is counters.
Sure.
There's different team compositions. So most of the time we'd start off with a comp that we felt comfortable on, see what the enemy's playing. If our comp's working, we don't need to make any switches.
Sure.
If we're struggling though, maybe we'll switch 1 or 2. But if we just can't get anything done, that's when you'll see us hit the full composition.
The full reset button, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's mostly just trying to figure out what works, trying to find the key to the hole.
Sure. One of the things that we noted here at the casting desk that the other team did, and then actually we also did pretty well, was grabbing high ground at certain points with those high rate of fire, high DPS champs or heroes. Can you, again, how much does the map selection play into your job, both as the coach or the IGL's job in swapping between heroes?
Yeah, so certain team comps are way better on certain maps.
Sure.
Just because of how accessible the high ground is. Because the Sigma that they're playing a lot is really good on those maps with really high ground. because it's hard to get up to them.
Sure.
And they can just rain down damage on
Yeah.
them. Whereas some of the other maps, like that Samoa first point, you just fight on point. So those are good for those like Ramatra comps.
Which, I mean, we got to see the Ramatra comp sort of have a degree of success on the Samoa map, which was kind of neat. So, awesome. One last thing for you, Coach Connor, before I let you go. Is there one thing that you are looking to kind of practice next week, as we move forward to the next league game, that you think is going to help this team be even more successful?
Yeah, definitely we're going to work on our mental.
Okay.
Not getting upset. Just we lose a fight. It's okay. Reset. Focus on the next one.
Cool. I love it, man. Well, hey, mental and stuff aside, I got to say something that we both of us noticed here at the casting booth. That team fought tooth and nail for every single point. So, I mean, you got a hardworking group of guys, and it was a great pleasure to watch them play. So, Thank you so much again, Coach Connor, for taking the time to talk to us here at the desk.
Yep. All right.
Wow, this is a little bit of a role reversal, isn't it, Coach Christian? Usually you're over here, and I'm coming in at the last second. What is this?
You know, I had to make my appearance.
I'm glad. Right? I would
course.
feel a little bit off if I didn't at least get like a couple seconds with you at the casting booth, man. So, Coach Christian, as our producer, man, how did tonight go? How do you feel about not just the game, but the casting situation? I know this was your first night actually getting a full production run, which is kind of cool.
Of course, and that's kind of why I wanted to come up here and help close it out and everything was just because I have to be so grateful for yourself and Coach Maddie, wherever she is.
She's floating over in the background. There, look at that. The world's greatest support.
Very grateful for you guys being able to come in here and allow me to produce and everything seemed to go well. So
I'll be
looking
honest,
forward to a bright future.
I'll be honest. I was looking forward to this all week. My only thing I would have changed about tonight is I would have had our boys win. That's pretty much it. Other than that, man, what a pleasure it is to like be at a full, incredible casting setup like the one that we have here at VH Camp Hill and be able to cast like such an exciting game like Overwatch. It's so fun.
Absolutely.
I forgot how much fun it was to watch Overwatch played at a really high level. I'm sitting up here like with a big grin on my face, like I know I shouldn't be smiling, but this is so cool. Like it's just great to watch everybody play. And thank you, Coach Christian, for being such a phenomenal producer for the show, man. It means a lot. So thank you so much, man.
And with that, we are going to wrap it up from Valhalla and Camp Hill. So thank you from myself, Coach Kyle, Coach Maddie, and literally everybody else here. Tune back in tomorrow night for either some Apex or some Rocket League. And then, of course, Thursday night, we will be back with Valorant. So tune back in for those. Continue to look out for those and look forward to those matches. And with that, hope all you guys have a good night.
Thank you all so much for watching. We're back. We're so back.